Hey, Burgman Riders, YouTube viewers. Does your Burgman 650 sound like mine does? Like a diesel? Take a listen. Whoop. But when you rev it up, the sound goes away. See? Only does it at idle. You may have taken this to your dealer and your dealer's told you, oh, it's got loose cam tensioners, or the valve train's all out of whack, or you got bad bearings in the engine, rod knock. Well, it's not true. I'm going to show you how to fix it. A little kit. I received the repair kit, the new primary input shaft repair kit from Mirek Iwaniuk from Poland, and it only took 6 days for it to ship from there to myself here in Kansas. So here what I've got laid out on the table is pretty much every tool you're going to need to do this installation. Phillips, flat blade, air blower, long nose, needle nose, half-inch extension, flashlight. You use this little thing to push little plastic push rivets in to remove them. 10 millimeter socket, 17, 19, 24 half-inch impact, and of course your kit, and of course Mirek includes the grease for the splines and some thread lock. I am not going to show the removal of the plastic side panel from the bike, just to speed up time a little bit. If you want to know the process to remove the lower plastic side panel from the Burgman 650 on the left hand side, look up LaDude 00's YouTube video. He pretty much has a video in there on how to disassemble and reassemble everything on the Burgman 650. Alright. If you're working from the floor like I am, I highly suggest that you put down a blanket, get you some nice piece of foam to sit on, and get all your tools laid out over on your blanket or your towel or whatever, so you don't have to keep getting up and down all the time. Make things a lot easier anyway. Since I'm having to hold the camera and record this and do the work, I don't have anybody else here to film for me today. It's basically going to be a procedure where I show you what I'm going to do, and then the camera's going to turn off and I'm going to do it. I'll explain what I'm doing, but I just won't be able to show it actually being done on camera. So the next thing you want to do is you want to remove those two 10 millimeter bolts that hold for this cover right here. Remove those next. So just temporarily lay your cover and bolts up there. So what you want to remove is that 17 millimeter bolt that you can see down there in the far end. Everything that I'm going to do today is going to be righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. There's no reverse threads or anything on this. So remove in the normal way that 17 millimeter. Next, you'll use your long nose needle nose pliers to reach in there
and grab the bolt, if I can do it, and pull it out. There it is. You can see that it did have some thread locker on it, so when you reapply the new shaft and the new bolt, you'll want to put some thread lock on the threads before you put it in. I recommend the Loctite Blue. This bolt right here, you're not going to need it again, so you can discard it or put it somewhere. Okay, from Mirek's kit, you're going to need this bolt that has the rounded tip, and you're going to take this bolt and you're going to thread it into, let me get the light. You're going to thread it into the gear that you see down there on the far end. Anyway, you screw this bolt in all the way, and then it's 24 millimeter, and you will impact with the impact in the 24 millimeter. You will impact this bolt in, and the bolt will go all the way through that gear and basically press against the case on the other side and extract the gear. It will basically pull the gear out. So you're going to put your 24 millimeter on there, and you're going to have the impact on tighten, and you're just going to basically drive that gear in. Slowly but surely until it pulls the gear out. Sorry about the noise in the background, and my air compressor is trying to catch up, but basically you'll keep impacting it in, and then you'll feel it when this gear pulls all the way out, and you just pull the gear out of the case, and there's the gear that you're going to replace. That's the gear that is it's not necessarily what's been causing all the noise, but it's part of the problem. The shaft is this new shaft is going to, if you watch Mirek's video, you'll see him hold up a large ring gear. It's a split ring gear, and it has coil springs in the that's basically, this is the center shaft that goes through that large ring gear that you see him hold up, and the shaft that he is selling replaces this this gear, and also the gear also comes all the way over till it hits these teeth. It's hard for me to do this, hitting these teeth right here, and basically theoretically taking out that anti-vibration ring gear, split ring gear that he shows in the video. That's what he's trying to explain. And that anti-vibration ring gear, along with some fairly loose splines on this gear, are what's causing all the noise at idle, the rattle or the diesel sound. Anyway, once you've got the gear extracted, you want to take your blow nozzle, your blow gun, and blow all the dirt inside there out. Make it nice. Make sure it's nice and clean. You don't leave any debris behind. You could probably see quite a bit of dirt flew out of there while I was doing it. Next thing you want to do is grab the adapter shaft and lube the splines up on it with the included grease. Okay, so with the new adapter shaft, you'll take Mirek's supplied grease. Just take a pair of scissors, cut the edge of this off and squeeze it out, and make sure you completely coat the splines. You only have to coat the splines. You don't have to put any in this area,
and you don't have to put any in that area, but you do need to put it on the inner splines, if you can see those in there. And this bolt right here, which is going to insert, once it's inserted in the bike, it's going to be here. You're going to want to put thread lock, blue thread locker on those threads there. After you've applied the spline anti-seize and lubricant, you want to take the same bolt that we used to extract the original gear and thread it into the new adapter shaft until the tip of the bolt is right at the very beginning of the splines on the inside splines, as you can see. I hope you can see right there. So when you get it in there, it's going to look something like that. Hopefully you can make that out on camera. Easy to see with my eye, but I don't know if the camera can pick it up. And you're going to need a hammer. And you're going to use this bolt installed in it, and you're going to use it to hammer it through the splines. You're also going to have to rotate the rear wheel of the bike while you're doing it to help align the internal splines as it's going in the case.
Now that we've got that nice and cleaned out inside there, it's ready for us to insert the new shaft. So you just start by getting it through those splines and then working it. Now you don't want to turn this bolt because it's important that the tip of the bolt stay in that position that I just showed you. So don't turn this bolt as you're doing it, but you can shake it up and down and move it. And this is the point where you're going to have to rotate the rear wheel of the bike as you're pushing it, which I cannot do with the camera at the same time, so I'm going to have to cut away for a second. Once you get it all the way in there, you will feel it bottom out once you get it there. So, and the gear is going to look something like that once you're there. So then you're going to want to remove this gear, or this bolt, and put in the other bolt that has the collar on it, with a little bit of thread lock, of course, on the threads. Okay, once you've got your thread lock on the bolt, then you're going to want to install the bolt in there. I hope this isn't too dark, but it's way too hard for me to hold the flashlight and do this at the same time. And just thread that in as far as you can by hand, and then you're going to need your 17mm in the impact. Correction, make that 19mm in your impact, and you're going to want to impact that in. You want to make sure your collar's on your bolt, of course, before you start. Alright, go in the right direction. Okay, you're going to want to impact it pretty hard. Then it's a good idea to take a, you can take your 1/2" extension, put it up against this bolt, and whack it a few times with the hammer, and then hit it with the impact one more time, just to make sure it's fully seated. The next thing you want to do is take your original cover, which went in like this originally, but it won't fit anymore because of the head of the bolt. And you just have to turn it around this direction and put it on with the same 10mm bolts. And then after you do that, we'll give it a start, see how it sounds. Okay, that's what it looks like reinstalled. If I didn't mention in the beginning, you do not have to drain the oil out of the bike. This is a dry section of the transmission case, so you can leave the engine oil in it. As you can see, mine's still in there. Now, since I've got all the plastic and everything off, I'm going to take advantage of it and go ahead and change the oil after I get this done. And I'm probably going to change the coolant as well, since to change coolant on a Burgman, you pretty much have to remove, I don't know if you can see that hose clamp right there, and pull this away, and basically it'll dump all your coolant, and then take your overflow bottle here and dump what's in it out, and then refill it. Simple as that. There's your oil filter, of course. Okay, for the moment of truth. Alright, let's see what she sounds like. Kickstand. Kickstand. Hey, look at that.